So today's video is going to be how to install cabinet door pulls. And so I have some knobs and I have some pulls. This is a feature that the builder offered, and I thought I could do it myself. And they didn't have a design I liked, and thought, it's pretty easy. It has taken me 5 years to find the design I like, and another year on top of that to actually install them. Actually, I think it's been 2 years. So today we are going to finally start this install. So I have the cabinet door pulls, the knobs, I have the pulls here. And then the really important thing here is that you have this jig. This is going to help you be able to determine where they go consistently without having to guess. We only need to measure the drawers to ensure that we're in the center. But the actual top cabinets, this is going to center it for us. So this is a really great tool to have. So we need this. We need a 3/16 drill bit. And if you don't have one, some of these kits you'll see, it's actually in the kit. So that's really helpful. And then you need your drawer pulls, of course, and your knobs. And make sure you count a few times and make sure you get what you need. And one of the questions you're going to want to ask yourself is when you're doing your pulls, especially on large cabinets like this, are you going to center your pull, or are you looking to have one on each side? So don't forget to include that in your count. If you have any fake drawers in your kitchen, I don't have any fake drawers. Oh, I do. On the bottom of your sink, you'll just have to decide if you want something there for consistency across, since all of your other cabinets in that same area are going to have pulls on them. Do you want something there? So if so, make sure you include those in your count. So once you have your pulls, it's going to be really important for you to note on the package what this center is. So the ones I have are 3-inch pulls. And so I'm going to use my guide here. And I know it's hard to see, but the guide is actually divided across into 3 different measurements. You have a 3, a 3.5, and a 4. So your drawer pulls are mostly going to fall into that. They may have a custom one. If you are looking to do this yourself, I suggest you fall in whatever the range is. And then once we go down from there, you can see, depending on the placement, how deep your cabinets are from the top, how wide that cabinet faces. You're going to have these different options. So if your cabinet, the 3-inch row, the 3.5, and the 4-inch row, to help study your cabinet. So once you decide on where your placement's going to be, I highly suggest you mark that. If you're not afraid, you can use a dry erase marker. That'll come off. So at least you're consistently using the same one each time. So I'll be honest, at first I did not want drawer pulls on my cabinet knobs on the cabinets. I thought it would look sleek without it. I was going to try it out for a little while and see what would happen. I did not plan to wait as long as I did. And you'll notice here, this is a heavily used cabinet. It's where the plates are and the bowls. You'll see it's starting to get a lot of wear and tear on that cabinet. And had we gone ahead and put in the pull first, most likely, I can guess, we wouldn't have seen as much wear and tear there. So that's why I want to get them in now. So we're going to have our jig here for our pulls. It's flat on 2 sides to help line up. So we can go this way, but you can also turn it and go this way. So for me, my best spot is right here. I don't want to get too close to this corner. I don't want to damage that. I still want that to show. That's an expensive piece that you get when you bevel the inside edges. I don't want to go too close to this corner. And then you'll notice some cabinets are going to have a seam here. So I'm going to want to stay away from that. So pretty much centering it in this space is where we want to go. So I'm going to put the pull here. I'm going to use my pencil, and I'm going to mark out this space so that when I pull the jig away, actually I have a marker on me, so I'm going to actually use that. I can put that marker. When I pull that jig away, I can see the spot I need to drill. Just go ahead and mark one and try it. I would not mark them all till you are consistent and happy with what you have. You'll notice on this side, there's no real hole here where I can line it up. The tool is reversible, so don't force it in a way it's not supposed to. And then if I put it again here, my mark's going to go right there. And then you'll see that is perfectly even with the mark on the other side. So this is the spot I'm using for my cabinet pulls. So I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes. So there's one other thing we should talk about before I get out the drill. So if you notice here, I have a level. I'm pushing the level up against the bottom of the cabinets. These cabinet doors are hung evenly, so you'll see the bubbles in the center. If I go to these, which are the ones I showed you before, they are not centered. So this is important to note because my 2 dots I drew here and here are not lined. And I don't want them to be. I want to fix the cabinet doors so they're centered. I don't want to drill holes and draw a line across here and then have them off center. And if I ever recenter the doors, then my holes are going to be off. It's a lot easier to recenter these doors than it is to cover up a hole and re-drill a new one for a cabinet pull once they show uneven. So you'll note that before you worry if your jig is straight or you've done something wrong, get out a level and just see where that dot ends up. And that'll reassure you if you've got your dots in the right spot. So a professional installer is probably not going to do this. I am not a professional. So I'm standing in front of the drawer that holds oven mitts. So I've grabbed one out because I don't want to go too far and hurt anything behind it. I have no plans to empty my cabinet. And if I open the door to drill, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. I also want a little bit of pressure where I can lean into it. And if the door's open without having someone here to help me, I'll just move the door each time. So there's not really an easy way to vise this open. So I'm just going to line it up on the hole. And then we're just going to drill it. We're going to drill all the way in. We drilled all the way in because the screw comes from the other side. And the other thing you can consider doing, I'll probably do that on the next one, is you could tape the outside of this. And if you drill through the tape, I'll try that on the next one so you can see the difference. If you drill through the tape, you won't get as much of this fraying around there. So now we're going to open the cabinet and we're going to stick in this screw. You see the screw coming out now, and you just turn your knob onto the screw. Now you can screw it in using a screwdriver, open the door, tighten it up, but for this purpose, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So there we go. The package comes with both a short and a long screw, depending on your cabinet size. So for my cabinets, I would use a shorter screw because I don't have much to get through here. You might have longer cabinets, but a good quality drawer pull is actually going to have 2 size screws in the package, so you can make the decision based on how heavy your cabinets are. All right, so I want to show you the difference. So we're going to do this one with the masking tape. Because I'd already marked it before, I need to mark it again. Put the tape over it. I know it's not going to hit this center part, but I still just want to be sure. So I'm going to put my mitt there. And then I'm just going to drill straight into that hole. Keep it as level as you can. There we go. So you'll notice there's still some wood chips there. Not as much. It didn't fray as much. So if that's something that concerns you, you may want to go ahead and put some masking tape over it. I actually did it on both sides to stop that. So I want to show you some finished cabinet pulls. And this project really start to finish, if you are consistent and goes cabinet by cabinet, you can probably pull this out in half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even less. So the top cabinets on this side of the microwave are in. I don't know why I waited so long to do it, but those are in. If you want me to make a video on how to straighten that cabinet door, let me know, and I will save that in case there's interest in seeing that as well. So now I'm going to move to the bottom cabinets and show you what installing the pulls looks like. So now we're going to take a look at the bottom cabinets. On our doors on the bottom, we're still going to be using our pulls. So we want to get those matched up. We want to use a consistent technique as before. So if you notice, if we put this on long ways, our hole is going to be right here, about right in the center. We like that. If we put it on this way, we don't really have any holes up here. So that's not a good match for us. So we're going to use the bottom one, put it on here. That's our hole. Flip it over. Same size, same level. It's going to go right there. But our drawers are a little bit more difficult. So if you have somebody that can help, I highly recommend it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is find the center. So we're going to take our tape measure. We're going to come across and we're going to find out what the center of this board is. For mine, mine is 15 inches, so 7.5 is my center. So we're going to measure that. when you find your center, you're going to get your drawer jig, and you're going to line it up, and there's a line here. There's a center line. So you're going to bring that down to the 7.5. Then, and it doesn't stay up there very well, so as soon as you touch it, it's going to come down. So it's really good to have someone to help. Then you've got to decide where your drawer pull is actually going to go. So what's too high, what's too low. When I measured, again, I just measured off camera, but it's just at 5.5. And the measurements on the tape line up with these measurements here. So this is a 2.5. That's a 3.5 inches from the top, 4.5 inches, and 5.25. So that'll really help you. So when I measured out and when I held my pull up, I really like the 2.5 inch mark. So that's what I'm going to go with and drill out. So 2.5 inches would be there. You mark it based on, you'll see there's 2 holes. You're going to mark it based on that 3-inch hole, which for us is the inside holes on the jig. So I'm going to mark the 2.5 line, and I'm going to mark these 3-inch holes. And those are the 2 holes I'm going to use consistently. So once I've got my jig centered on the drawer, I want to hold it down when I mark these 2 holes, or have somebody mark it for you, because this will not stay up on its own. It doesn't have enough of a lip at the top to do it, so that you don't want it to move. So if you have someone that can hold it, or someone that can mark it while you hold it, that's going to be your best bet to get these straight. So this, you can see, cabinet pull on, drawer pull on. The drawer pull, this is our menu drawer, by the way. This is a pretty thick drawer. So we actually ended up having to use the larger screws to get through this plate that's on the back here. So screws go in on both sides, put it through. I used a very small screwdriver and to be able to get in there. You don't need a big one. The screws aren't too terribly big. And secured that on. And now we have a working drawer and a working cabinet. So the majority of the pulls and knobs are in. I did skip these larger drawers. I'm still trying to decide if I want to put one in the center, or because they're so large, one on each side. So still trying to make that decision. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And hopefully this has helped you, give you a little bit of confidence, so if you need to install some cabinet knobs, you're able to do it. Thanks for watching.